Hello, my name is Andrew Thake, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Elaine Ellingham, who is the Chief Executive Officer of My Gold. Delighted to have you with us on the show, Elaine.
Great. Thank you, Andrew, for having us.
Excellent. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about the My property?
Sure, absolutely. Actually, My Gold, we have 100% ownership of the My Gold Mine project down in Guyana. An interesting past producing mine. It produced almost 3.8 million ounces of gold. So when it was in production, it was essentially the largest primary gold producer in South America. So we basically acquired the project from the government, and we're exploring quite aggressively there.
And what is the geology like?
Well, you're actually part of the Guyana Shield, which is a fairly hot area right now. There were some acquisitions of companies, Guyana Goldfields and Goldex at significant premiums to market. So I think there's a new market awareness, and also Barrick is in there. And basically the Guyana Shield is not dissimilar to the greenstone belts in Ontario and Quebec. The gold deposits are the same type. Greenstone belts at slightly younger age, but essentially the same. And so, as we all know, the gold deposits in Quebec and Ontario, they're large, they're prolific, they have deep roots, and we're looking at the same things in Guyana. But because of the humid tropical environment, one, you've got the jungle, and two, you've got a thick weathering cap of saprolite, so its little exploration has been more difficult. But there's a real awareness and awakening now to the potential down there. And so for our project, it's interesting. There are two very significant past producing pits. They're only 400 meters apart. One is a quartz diorite intrusion, so like a plug. And it basically had very flat lying, gold rich quartz veins. And then the other deposit, quite different, a sort of a long, linear, broad shear corridor, a place of a lot of crustal movement. But what it means to us is a lot of open fractures where there was good gold mineralization. And that pit was actually in production 1.7 kilometers long, that portion that was mined. And we know that shear extends 3 kilometers. So we see a lot of potential on the property. And I guess, Andrew, the one thing we kind of inherited was there was no mineralization underneath both of the pits, which is fantastic starting point for us. So last year, very significantly, we drilled just over 10,000 meters, and that's our first full year as a public company. And we set our target of coming out with a resource by year end, and we made it. So we published or announced our maiden resource estimate January 4th of this year, and 1.6 million ounce resource consisting of about 700,000 ounces of indicated, 940,000 ounces of inferred, and 1.4 grams per ton. So pretty good for sure. And we know that it's open along strike and at depth. So the other pit actually has known mineralization below as well, and a historic resource. Not 43-101 compliant, but still a fairly large resource. So we really have a leg up to start building some significant resources.
Mm-hmm. So you've got fantastic history there, fantastic geology there as well. For some of our investors who aren't familiar with Guyana, what is Guyana like as a mining jurisdiction?
Actually, Guyana has a long history of mining of bauxite, and gold has obviously been very prominent. So they have a very well-established mining law, and it's the former British Guyana. So you still feel there's the foundations of the British rule of law. So it's a comfortable place to do business. They're English speaking. They consider themselves more part of the Caribbean culture than the South American culture, interestingly. But Guyana actually, some fascinating things is there's an oil boom going on, and like about 5 years ago, they discovered offshore oil. Exxon is in there in a big way. So the GDP of Guyana was actually 46% in 2020. So I think probably one of the highest performing countries in the world. And then the World Bank is forecasting 49% growth in the GDP this year. So Interesting, you would say, does that mean they're no longer supporting mining? And actually, very much to the contrary, is they're finding the offshore oil business is not bringing jobs, and they really want to see job growth. So when OMI was in production, it employed 1,000 people, probably 3 times that during the construction phase. So they see mining as actually investment in mining brings infrastructure to the interior of Guyana and jobs. And so they are very, very keen on seeing new mines being developed in Guyana. It's a great place for us.
Mm-hmm. And so as well as having a great jurisdiction there as well, I understand that you've also built a really world-class management team. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Yeah. So our chairman is Renaud Adams. He's the CEO of New Gold. He's a great mine developer. I've had the honor of working with him twice in the past. We first met at IM Gold. I was a senior VP there, and Renaud was actually the general manager of the huge Rosabelle mine, which is just 200 kilometers east of the OMI property. So that was our first experience working together. And then I was on the board of a company called Richmont Mines with a property up in Wawa here in Ontario. And we discovered a very significant deposit underneath our existing fairly small mining operation. And so I stepped in as the interim CEO as our exploration evolved, but we really needed a world-class mine developer. So Renaud came in, and we took that company from 75 million market cap 3 years later to an $800 million takeover. So yeah, a great story. It was taken over by Alamos, and I sit on the board of Alamos today.
Mm-hmm. Any recent news that you'd like to highlight to investors? I was reading that you'd recently announced a private placement and then closed the first tranche for $2 million.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess the most recent news, of course, was the beginning of January when we announced our resource. We are quite proud of that achievement, and it's a good base to grow from. Subsequent to that, yeah, we started first by trenching, and then we've moved on to we have 2 drills turning on the property. So when we were meeting with some investors, one of them was interested in putting some money in. It's a significant UK fund, and we thought it was a great opportunity to bring in some institutions. So we weren't actually looking at financing, but it just made sense to do so. So yeah, that's going to drive our program this year for sure.
You mentioned like a few like funds there that have shown some interest and taking positions within Oh My Gold. Can you tell us a little bit about your share structure and like give us an indication as to who are the major shareholders and how much does the management own in the company?
Sure. Basically, we have about 280 million shares outstanding. Quite a large number, but basically we have Silvercorp has about 12% of the company. Sandstorm has about 7%, and they have a 1% royalty. And then our institutions are probably about 15% now, and it's they're all sort of about the same level, but basically Mackenzie's in there, Ruffer, K2, and EDE. There's a few others in there. So yeah, we're starting to get some traction and recognition by the funds. And then management, there was quite a changeover in management since the RTO a couple of years ago. So I think management, we're about 3 or 4% right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So looking ahead to, for the rest of 2022 and even into 2023, what opportunities do you see over the course of the next 12 months? And I guess, more importantly, how is Oh My Gold positioned to go and take advantage of them?
Yeah, no, I think it's really exciting for me. I mean, I'm an exploration geologist originally and been in the business for a long time, spent a lot of time in the gold space before taking corporate positions. And for me, what I saw is, these past producing properties, especially ones that were kind of shut down. I mean, OMI operated when the gold price was under $400 an ounce. So as you can imagine, there's lots of opportunities there. So we've set our sights really on building resources. And as I mentioned, we already had a few leg up because we knew there was mineralization under both of the past producing pits. So So we have our Wenot resource. We want to focus on the extensions along strike. We already know that that shear corridor extends 3 kilometers long, so we have one drill there currently. The other thing that's interesting about the property, Andrew, is that because when it was in production, the low gold price, they didn't pursue the exploration targets. So there's a number of really interesting exploration targets that were drilled in the 1990s that have never seen any other work. And so we are looking at those because we'd like to see some additional near surface open pit deposits. It might be like starter pits for the bigger Wenot and at depth at Wenot at Fennel. So really it's building up the Wenot resource, pursuing the exploration targets, and then also the Fennel deposit, which we've done a number of studies with Goldcorp to get with Goldspot to look at the various distribution of mineralization in that. And at some point we will have to put some verification holes to get that into 43-101 compliance. But I mean, we see the value proposition as basically building a resource that we would like to see. You know, our target is sort of 4 to 5 million ounces in 18 months.
Excellent. Well, Oh My Gold sounds a really fantastic project. Great geology, great jurisdiction, great management team, good investor support, and a really exciting outlook for 2022 and beyond. Delighted to have you on today's show. That was Elaine Ellingham from Oh My Gold. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew.